The National Parks Board is implementing a sterilization program for the long-tailed macaques at Maju Forest to manage population numbers and reduce human-wildlife encounters. NParks says it is one of the measures in response to feedback from nearby residents about macaques repeatedly intruding into their homes. Other measures include minimizing human sources of food and deploying monkey guarding patrols. Natalie Ong with this exclusive report.
These native residents of Maju Forest in Clementi, the long-tailed macaques, are an endangered species and a common sight by the forest fringe. And nearby residents are no strangers to them.
Well, they go into the patio. If there's food there, they will take it, or plastic bag, they will take it. So now we just don't leave any food and things on the patio.
Yeah, I see many the monkeys 3 times a week. Sometimes on the rooftop also have. I don't know how to climb up so high.
NParks says it has received feedback from residents about repeated intrusion into homes near Sunset Way, Clementi Road and Clementi Avenue 4. Among the efforts to manage populations, sterilization, which started in June. I'm about a 2-minute walk into Maju Forest from the main road, and over here, the National Parks Board has set up a hoarding to trap long-tailed macaques for sterilization. When I peered in earlier, I could make out at least 2 cages, but couldn't spot any monkeys inside. The National Parks Board says these efforts are part of a long-term, multi-pronged approach to manage their populations. One primatologist says the success of a sterilization program depends on a few factors, including whether there are sufficient habitats left for the native species. She adds that outreach to residents living in the community is important to explain what to do when encountering monkeys and their sterilization program.
Do the sterilization, or when developments happen, usually a lot of times what happens is sometimes the troops can fragment. In our urban wild context, it's a bit different because once they leave, they're going to be stranded in the middle of our city.
Residents also shared concerns about where the monkeys will move to when the forest is cleared. NParks says people should remain calm and quiet and avoid making eye contact if approached by macaques in the open.
Singapore is home to about 1,900 native long-tailed macaques, according to the latest island-wide census in 2012. In the wild, they can live for 15 to 30 years, with a female producing between 8 and 12 offspring over her lifetime. But as macaques and people increasingly cross paths, tensions are rising. Monkey-related feedback has climbed by 35%. To manage the population over the long term, NParks is sterilizing macaques in areas where human-monkey conflict is most frequently reported. Unlike culling, sterilization does not break up entire troops. Most macaques are sterilized and returned to the same habitat, allowing their social groups to stay together, while the number of new births gradually falls. Punggol shows how the approach works. The program began there in late 2023, following population surveys and scientific modelling. In 2024, about 50 macaques were trapped. Most were sterilized and returned to their habitat, while those assessed to pose an ongoing public safety risk were euthanized. With urban development bringing people and macaques into closer contact, wildlife advocates say acting now could help reduce conflict in the years ahead.
It's good that we start this measure now so that we keep the population in check. It's one of the best ways to manage this humanely, which is something that ACRES has been advocating for a long time. If we don't do that, then I would think that whatever happened in Punggol or whatever is happening in Punggol is going to happen in Clementi in 10 years down the road, where the population will continue to increase or be at the current number. New residents are going to move in, and these macaques are suddenly going to be displaced.
NParks has not yet released figures showing whether Singapore's macaque sterilization program is working. But Hong Kong, which has used the approach for years, gives us an idea of what may be possible. One study found that within 3 years, the proportion of female macaques giving birth fell from 59% to 31%. After that, both the birth rate and the overall population remained fairly stable. The researchers estimate that Hong Kong would need to keep sterilizing about 80 to 100 macaques a year to prevent the population from growing.